This episode, our top takeaway tips from 2021. Well, folks, here we are in the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Just too much holiday stuff. So we thought we would give you our best tips. Why? Because those are things you can actually use and keep us on topic here and not talk about holiday stuff. But these were the tips that really saved us some time and effort in 2021. Stuff that you can use today. Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show. Home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Handyman Pros Radio Show, where our goal is to help save you time, money, and aggravation on your home maintenance and repair. This edition is entitled Our Top Takeaway Tips from 2021. To help me explain, I'm here with my ever-cheerful co-host and old buddy, John. John, are you there?
Oh, yeah. I'm awake. Oh, there you are.
No, honey, no, not now. No.
I got everybody out there. I'm in my shawl and my seat, falling asleep. So what's been going on this week?
You tell me.
Well, I fixed. Now this can be a whole show, but I just got through fixing gates on a deck, and boy, I gotta tell you, when they put this deck together, they used the wrong nails, to pin it all together. And you know what happens when you use the wrong ones in pressure treated wood?
They rust or pull out, mostly rust. Or rot, really.
They are rotting away, and they look like toothpicks.
Yep.
And this whole deck, and Larry, we talked about this off air at some point. I'd have you join me. We've got to put new railings on this thing. But this is a very dangerous situation. So when you're doing these, when you're building decks, especially or anything out of pressure treated wood, just know what the fasteners are, which ones you're supposed to be using. So, because they will rot. That stuff in there will rot away.
And I hate to be chastised about this, but we actually did a show on fasteners last year at some time. And my wife says, I need to include the dates. And I said, it's easy for you to say, but we have a lot of shows, and I don't remember where it is. But, John, that's actually a show we need to revisit. We need to talk about working with pressure-treated wood, the do's and don'ts.
Yep. Yeah. So I ran across this, and that's what I did. I fixed this gate, and I didn't even have to take out the old nails.
Yeah, they fell out
because there was nothing to fall out.
Yeah.
They were completely gone. So I screwed everything back in on. It was like a double gate that opens up into this deck. It's a nice deck, and I put it all back together and added whatever was rotten out, but put it all back together, screws, and guess what? They swing just perfect. Everything's level. Before they were it was the whole thing. They had cables all over the place trying to hold those, square them back up, and that whole thing. Anyways, I won't go through all of it, but that's what I've been doing in the last couple of days.
Well, what we say at the Handyman Pros Radio Show, right? It's better to be lucky than good. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. That's right. Beat it to fit, paint it to match.
And caulk the rest. Jeez. Yeah.
So, anyways, I was thinking.
Here we go. This is a dangerous situation.
Here we go.
Johnny's been thinking.
Finally, I was thinking. So take advantage of it. To discuss the top takeaways of the tips that we've used this year. We do a tip show like once a week, right?
Yes.
Or we answer questions and so on and so forth. But I kind of distilled some things down that I thought would be interesting that I have used time and time again throughout this past year that have really helped me save, a lot of time. And aggravation.
Yeah. And
our kind of mantra here, but we were going to go through, a lot of different tips, but we don't, I just kind of distilled it down to almost like, if you will, what I would term as the, what's my Mount Rushmore of tips.
AKA four presidents. That's
Yeah,
just I missed
four
that reference,
presidents,
so
right?
you all
So
know that. Just
if you don't know what Mount Rushmore is, you need to go out there and visit it. It's pretty spectacular.
Black Hills
Anyways,
are awesome. Anyway, keep going.
Anyways, so I've got my 4 tips here, and
Johnny, give us the 4. Tell us the 4. What are they? Come on, we're waiting with bated
are you
breath.
Waited? Wait. Okay. Well, the first one that and I'm going to go in reverse order here. The number 4th one that I've got is something that I've used a lot this year. I don't know why. It just seems to be like the third hand for me, and that is the inflatable shim. You can buy these things at the big box store. It's like a little bulb with a like a little pillow, and you squeeze it like a blood pressure tester. And these things work great. I think they can lift like 300 pounds. But I've been putting in doors, and just to square them all up and everything, you can just put it underneath the door, under the floor, and step on it with your foot and just use your hands and guide it up until exactly where you want it, and then drill in the hinges.
Yep, we did that on August 26th, Johnny. Just so you know.
And that was that show, yeah. But you can buy these things. They're I don't know where they're somewhere around $15-20, but they're great. They're great. So if you I don't know. It was, like I said, it's one of the tips that I have used time and time again this past year. So I thought I'd pass that along.
So what is number 3, John? I'm waiting. Come on.
My number 3 is really some applications that I've used on my smartphone. I've got an Apple phone, an iOS. And one of them is the one that we've done. We did a show on this. I can't remember when it was, but it's called House Contents. And, it's kind of a poor man's inventory type of system, if you will. But you can take pictures. You can put serial numbers in there. It'll read barcodes, and it'll store everything. So, like, let's say you have a house. Then you've got a kitchen, and you can put them all into, you got a kitchen, the bathroom, the basement, and you can separate all this and put all your equipment, everything that's going on in there, and it'll keep track of all the warranties and everything else. But what I've done with this thing is also I've created my car, my truck, with all the boxes that I have in there, and I've taken the pictures of all the different boxes, my drywall box, my electrical box, my fastener box, this, that, and the other, so that I don't have to go out there and look through all my boxes, right? It's all on my phone. So I just go through and I say, I wonder if I've got that in that box, So
yeah,
it just is really flexible. And the other thing that I've used a lot is the fraction calculator.
Oh, Johnny's doing calculator.
But the fractions, okay? So, boy, I tell you, it's been a long time since I was, doing fraction. I'm not going to take out a pad of paper and a pencil when I've got the thing right on my phone. So when I'm doing, measurements and I got to take half of this and plus that and all that, man, it's just so these apps are out there, folks. Take advantage of them. I use these things all the time.
Yeah, the first one's called House Contents, right?
That's right.
And that just is a synopsis of all the things that you're in your home. It's
right.
It's basically a file for your home, right?
For call it inventory by locations.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And you can put as many pictures for each location. It's really a slick little app. It's great. The second one, the number 2 is that I've used, I can't believe it once again, is repacking leaking gate valves. Gate valves being the older type of valves outside your house on hose bibs. And they always seem to leak out the top.
Yes, they do. Especially after time, right?
After time. And you'll even find them inside homes too. You'll find them around your
hot water heaters,
water softeners.
You'll
find them in your heaters, the whole thing. And you go and touch one of these things to turn the water off after 10 years, and then you go and you try to reopen it, it's going to start to leak again. It's going to start to leak.
Yep.
Oh, what a pain. But to repack those things, you just go down. I think we did a little tip on that on 5/14 of this year. Is go down and just get some packing. It looks like it's a white piece of rope, a little thin string, and just undo the top nut, put that around there, put that top nut down, tighten it, and it just stops that leaking. It's great.
It does
and
work.
I have used that.
Works well. I've used it many times this year. Yep.
And it saves you from replacing that whole valve.
Yes, which is a real PIA.
That is
Ooh.
exactly that's the point. That's the point. So if you want to fix things like that, get it done quickly. Boy, it saves you a lot of time, and you're on to something else. The number one tip that I have used this year constantly.
Oh, I gave you a good one, didn't I?
Is the window cleaner and silicone trick. That is the best.
So this is for caulk when you're using
Yes.
silicone caulk, right?
Yep, and it is. I try to stay away from it when I can. I love silicone caulk, and it's got its uses, obviously, and its purposes. And sometimes it's like, oh man, I dread using it because it gets everywhere, and it's you can't. It's not easy to clean up.
No, it's not. No.
But with this window cleaner trick, I think it's the spray away stuff that I use.
It's a non-ammonia based.
Right. And I think there's a bunch of them out there, but spray away is one of them.
Spray away is one of the brand names, and there's about two. They usually are in a blue can, and it's a spray can, just like a regular old aerosol spray can. And spray away is one of them, and I can't remember. There's another one. But
there's a couple of them, and you just
two major brands. Yeah.
You just lay the silicone down. And you spray, so if you're on a crack, okay, you just put the silicone down onto the crack, and then on top of that, you spray this cleaner. That's the second step, not the first, the second.
Second.
And then if I sprayed on my hands too.
Yes, put it on your hands.
And then I can use my finger on the silicone, and just go right through it. A real professional result with that, just like you get on a latex, a water-based latex.
Yep.
Using your finger, and it all comes off beautiful, no mess, no sticky stuff anywhere all over your hands. I mean, I use that trick.
I'm not touching that one, Johnny. Not touching it. No.
I use that all the time this year. No, don't. All right, Larry, you're up.
I'm up. So yeah, I didn't put mine in any particular order, so I'm just gonna go through them. Number one, the first one that came to mind, jumps right out at me, was actually our show with the Drywall Doctor, which was on 5/3 of 2021, and it talked about using multiple products for finishing off drywall. And I've got to say that I knew that, but Ray he clarified what I was doing. And he talked just about how to do drywall, and it's just saved me a boatload of time of using a quick. Don't use the easy sand for the whole thing. Use easy sand and then a ultra lightweight over the top of that. What a fantastic result. It works great. And that, folks, if you listen to that show, and then I think he's got videos on it, but anyway, whatever. The Drywall Doctor, it's Ray Anderson, and he did it's a great job. It saved this year. It's a combination of saving me time, but it's also really increased the level of the production of the product that I do when I do a drywall repair. It's so much easier, faster, better. It's really good.
And by the way, that is a great episode.
Yeah.
And once again, that's on 5/3 of 2021. And that if you haven't gone through that one, that's really worthwhile going through.
Yeah. And that was, I've been doing drywall for years, really have been. But that one it's probably saved me. It saves me 2 hours a job. Because mostly the dry time and all that stuff, So it takes me down to 2 or 3 visits versus 3+, and that's been so worth it. One of the other tips, and this is one I've been doing this for years, but I just love this as a great tip. And we did a show, but it was in our first year of production, and we never found the date, but it doesn't really matter. So you take a shoulder bag, right? A T-shirt bag, which is the bags you get at every store, grocery store, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. They're the plastic T-shirt bags. Take a piece of blue tape. When you're going to drill a hole in a wall, tape that bag up underneath the hole, open the bag up just a little bit, drill the hole. All that dust and drywall and dirt and debris and stuff falls into that bag. Customers love it. You're going to love it because it's clean, it's easy, it costs you generally nothing except a small piece of blue tape. That one, I use that every single time I drill a hole. I don't care anymore. I just tape up under it. People look at me and they go, "What are you doing?" And I mean, literally, my customers ask me, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm taping it." And they look at it, they go, "Man, that's smart." But it's not that. It's that I just don't want to clean it up. Don't be the cable guy. Right? Don't leave the mess on the floor.
Yeah.
Don't do that, right? And even for you as a homeowner, if you're going to hang, I don't know, anything, you're putting a little anchor in the wall, folks, save yourself the cleanup. You don't have to get the vacuum out. You don't have to do anything. It falls in the bag. Done. Loving it.
Yeah,
Loving it.
I'll tell you what, I forgot about that one. So the dog had knocked off one of the little the little springy stops that is on the bottom of the the door.
Doors. Yep.
Well, guess what happened, right? Coming in from the garage, there was a great big hole in the wall from the door lock.
Oh yeah.
So I fixed it all up and I sanded it, and I should have used that trick because guess what? I had to vacuum up the floor.
Yeah, and it works for if you're sanding.
And it would have been great. It was just a little hole. I mean, but it was like, the hardest part of the whole thing.
It's clean
was
up.
Getting out the vacuum and cleaning it all
it's
up.
just yuck. And I guess I didn't think about it, but yeah, if you're doing a small drywall sand, you can do the same thing, right?
Yep.
I mean, if it's it's as wide as the bag. I suppose you could use a 55-gallon bag and do a great big area, but I don't know how well that would work. Anyway, that one I just use that probably every week I use that one. We did a show on July 29th about saving your back, about tool belts, and it's kind of funny. That one this year really for me has been a big deal. I bought a second tool belt. So I have a tool belt that I use to do a job with, and then I have my tool belt that has my work kit, for lack of a better word, but I throw it over my shoulder. It's how I carry my tools into the job. And I've got 90% of all the tools I need when I walk into a job with that tool belt on. Problem is that tool belt's so heavy, if I strapped it onto my body, I'd be like a weeble. I'd fall over, and I wouldn't be able to get back up. The weeble would wobble, but it would not it would not get back up. From being so far out of balance. So I've got to say that saving my back this year has been really, really, really critical. And the last big tips, this is a series of tips. We talk a lot about planning and organization on this show, and you will hear that as a recurring theme over and over and over again. But I've just gotten some great organizational tips from a bunch of our guests, mostly from people like Chad Carson on April 26th, Matt Jackson on July 5th. We just did an interview with Dana Renee on November 15th. She's a wonderful female handy person in Indiana, and just got a bunch of great, just little organizational tips, but they just make my life so much easier on a day-to-day basis. Just anything, just all these little tips, just staying organized, knowing where your stuff is, keeping your customers organized, just all of this stuff, it just makes your life easier. It's just like one of yours, John, is house contents, right? Which is knowing what's what and what's where. What do you have in your house? When's the last time you worked on it? What do you know the paint color in the room? Where's the breaker for it? Where, blah, 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 right? All of that stuff, it's pretty massive when you have your house. But if you're trying to keep yourself keep yourself super fast and functional and doing the right things, you got to have an organization system. And I just picked up, through all these various different shows we've interviewed a bunch of handymen and business people and things on this. And we just find every time I do one of those interviews, I pick up something. There's always something I pick up from listening to these other guys in the business doing these jobs. They've always got these just little tips, and they're fantastic. So, it's just everything. I just really, 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 really like a lot of those tips, and we actually did a show on organizational tips on July 26th, and then I think have we done how we pack our trucks out and stuff? We've done we talk about
we've
this
done a
lot.
little bit of that, but it's really important because you brought up something prior to this the show here is that there's been some posts out there, come to think of it, that where somebody would say, hey, you know what, I've got like 4 sets of drills because I can't find my drills.
Yeah.
And then
right.
I find them.
Right.
So you find yourself buying stuff again.
Yeah. That drives me crazy.
Yeah. And that drives me crazy. And that's where I said, I have got to get a better system. I got to get a handle on what I have so that I don't have to, that I'm not throwing money away.
Yeah. Well, it's time, money, and aggravation, right? It's all,
exactly.
It's the triumvirate. Don't spend all day looking for your stuff in your truck or your home or your workshop or whatever it is. Put things back where I sound like my dad.
Yeah.
Did your dad say those things to you? Son, where's my screwdriver? It's not where it's supposed to be.
Right.
What did you do with it?
You are going to put that back where it belongs now, aren't you?
Yeah, you are going to put that back where right. Or
I can hear him still say that.
It's still screaming that in your ear. Right?
Oh yeah.
Mine was usually with a swear word involved, and it usually began with a G and ended with a T, and had an amit in the middle of it, and it was that. Where's my blank? And then it'd be like, oh,
I never knew that you could. I never knew that you could measure stuff with a yardstick.
That was only the distance between your knuckles and the yardstick,
right?
And it ended up as a decreasing number to 0.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what that thing's really supposed to be used for. Okay.
Johnny, that sounds like child abuse. I can't believe you're saying that.
So that's kind of the wrap up here of we've probably got a bunch of others. My intention here was just to kind of go through the ones that we use, that we've talked about this past year, that we use all the time, the ones that kind of bubble up to the surface all the time.
And folks, if you have any, please send it to us. Put it on our Facebook group, whatever it is, because we'll put that stuff out on the air. There's several of our listeners that we've put many of their comments out on the air. One that comes to mind is Tan Packer has given us a bunch of really good stuff to put out there, and we do acknowledge the fact that you all send us these kinds of tips and stuff. So we're always in this to learn, and we love getting better and faster, if you want to call it that, and aggravation as well. It's just because they're all synonymous, right? It's a triad. And so if you have any of those tips, please send it to us. It's questions at Handyman Pros Radio Show or at handymanprosradioshow@gmail.com. Either way, we'll get them. Put them on our Facebook group. We will certainly, they're always welcome, always. And that's at Handyman Pros, by the way, on Facebook. Johnny, did you get any tips this year from an alien by chance? Did any aliens, when they landed in your backyard while you were taking apart their spaceship, did you get any tips? Did they give you any tips?
Oh no, Larry. You got one that's always traveling with you, though.
Yeah, she likes to hang out in the front seat of the car. Yeah, she gets out. She's been on some jobs with us. Have we posted those pictures yet? Yeah, we posted those pictures. Some of them.
No, there's more to come. We just had a pretty exciting job to do.
Oh, you are baiting our listeners.
I'm baiting.
Yeah, we did a really, really cool build that we are going to put some video out for this one as well, because it's a very unique build, and so we're pretty proud of this.
More
build.
stuff to come.
Yeah, there's more to come. Right, we're just baiting you. We're baiting you. But there might even be, John, a contest out there where we are contemplating doing a contest for your unique build. So if you've done something that's truly unique, we've had some very interesting things. Was it Matt Jackson? I believe it was Matt Jackson.
We've done zip lines.
Built a zip line and everybody's done. There's some really unique builds that have been done out there. So if you've got a unique build, send us that or put that out on the Facebook group. We're going to probably put a contest together for next year where you'll get some swag, some Handyman Pros Radio Show swag, T-shirt or a coffee mug. We really like our coffee mugs, Johnny. I really like mine. I drink out of it every day. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's on the website, folks. If you want to look at it, go to products. It's under the It's under product somewhere, but we've got 15-ounce coffee mugs. Gotta love a 15-ounce coffee mug, man. I'm telling you, forget 8 ounces. That's for the birds. But anyway, we're gonna probably put together a group because we really want to see some of these unique builds. If you've got pictures, if you don't, even a good description of what it is. Because when I think it was Matt, did the zip line, and I was like, that's so cool. I want to do a zip line. Then I'm like, no, I really don't want to do a zip line. But our build that we're going to show you is pretty cool. So anyway, with that, the spaceship has landed. Johnny's already taken it apart, and by this time I've been blathering, so he's already put it back together again. And with that, if you've enjoyed the Handyman Pros Radio Show, please tell your friends and neighbors. Send them the link. Let them go. Questions, comments, concerns, all that good groovy stuff. Folks, we will see you next week on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.